Hello class 10. I'm here with the continuation of chapter number 11, that is sense organ. Okay, so in the last session we had a talk about the human eyes. Okay, and we have already completed also. So today we'll deal with the ear. Okay, human ear. All right, and the diagram of human ear is already here with all the parts shown here, and we'll try to understand their structure and their functions. Okay, there means out here the parts of the ear, whichever are shown are all there in your syllabus, and we'll try to understand their structure and their functions there in the human ear. Okay, so now let's get started. First, we'll know the function of ear. As you all know that the function of ear is to hear. Okay, that means hearing is the primary function of ear. But beside this, ear is also meant for maintaining the balance of the body. Okay, that means there are two functions of the ear. One is hearing. Okay, the other one is to maintain the balance of the body. Okay, so now we'll see the structure of human ear. Okay, so your human ear has been described in three main parts. Okay, it has been divided into three main parts. They are outer ear, middle ear, and inner ear. Okay, outer ear, middle ear, and inner ear. As you see here, outer ear, I have written the parts that you find there in the outer ear, middle ear, and in the inner ear. As you see here, which are also there in the book. See, the outer ear, the part of outer ear, you see, includes pinna. This region is called pinna. As you have, this is your pinna. Okay, pinna. And the last part of your pinna out here is your lobule, which is not shown in the diagram. So this is your pinna. Then auditory canal, as you see here, this is your auditory canal, which is also called ear canal. Okay, ear canal. Then another one is your eardrum. Here is your eardrum. Okay, drum, ear, drum. Alright, so eardrum is also termed as tympanum. Tympanum, tympanum. Okay, so I don't write out here. I am repeating the term called tympanum, which is also the biological name or other name of eardrum, tympanum. Okay, so these three parts, pinna, auditory canal, and eardrum, are the parts of your outer ear. Alright, then as you know, no need to describe about this pinna. This is your auditory canal. That means something like canal is something like tube through which the actually your your sound travels. Okay, sound travels. Then your tympanum is there or your eardrum is there. So that sound which is going from here through this ear canal, will strike this eardrum and it gets vibrated. Okay, so that we will discuss all about it later on. First, we'll talk about the structure. So these three parts you find there in the outer ear. Then second parts, or the middle ear, consists of, you see, mainly three small bones. Okay, three small bones are there in the ear inside, and these three small bones of the ear inside, are collectively called ear ossicles. Are called what? Ear ossicles. These are not, they are not mentioned out here, but they are collectively called ear ossicles. Alright, and they are malleus. M-A-L-L-E-U-S, malleus. Commonly, it is also known as hammer. Okay, hammer. Something like, hammer, as you know, hammer. Then incus. So hammer is this one, this part, which is something like hammer only. Okay, hammer. Then Your incus is your anvil. You see the anvil is something like, you see, what do you call it? The cobbler, cobbler has a kind of small tool on which they keep the shoes and they use it there. They beat the shoes, something like that they do. Small tool they have, which is called anvil. And this bone is similar to that anvil, so that it is commonly known as anvil also. But the other name is incus. Then steps, you see steps, the third bone of the middle ear or the ear ossicle is your steps, S-T-A-P-S, steps, which are commonly known as stirrup. Steps is commonly known as, stirrup. Here it is stirrup. As you see, is another bone, stirrup. Okay, stirrup means it's something like a small tool you find there on the horse. Okay, if you have, if you are riding a horse, once you climb on its trunk, there you find a kind of tool into which you adjust your foot. Okay, adjust your foot down there. So that is similar to this. So it is known as your, what do you call it, your stirrup. So malleus, incus and steps, or hammer, anvil and stirrup. These are the three small bones that you find in the middle ear. And they are collectively called ear ossicles. Okay, then see here, the handle of this hammer, okay, the handle of this hammer, or you see, the handle of this malleus is fitted to the tympanum or this eardrum. Okay, it is connected to what? Eardrum here. Okay, the handle of this hammer is connected to this eardrum or tympanum. The other end of this hammer is connected or joined with anvil here. The other end, this end actually, now you see being connected with the anvil. And in turn, this anvil is connected with your stirrup here. So this way, these three bones are connected. Okay, and what you see is that the flat part of your stirrup, flat, okay, the flat part of this stirrup, you see being connected, okay, being connected with a so-called, window is there, which is called oval window here. This is your oval window. Okay, so there is a kind of opening. There's a kind of opening called oval window. All right, so this flat part of your stirrup you see being connected with a so-called oval window out here, and this oval window you see, connecting the middle ear with the inner ear. Okay, middle ear with the inner ear. What's the point? Then just nearby there is another opening. There is another opening, or there is another window here you see is called round window. There itself, round window. So this round window also connects your middle ear with the inner ear. Okay, that means here you see in the middle ear, malleus, incus, steps, oval window, and another one is a round window. Okay, so these are all there. So beside these three here you see oval window and round window having the function of connecting the middle ear with the inner ear as well. Okay, then another part that you find there in the middle ear, okay, another part that you find there in the middle ear is Eustachian tube here, this tube, Eustachian tube, E-U-S-T-A-C-H-I-A-N, Eustachian tube. So that you find the another part of your middle ear which connects the middle ear with the throat here. That means your ear is connected with your throat also. So that connection is done by the Eustachian tube, which is the part of your middle ear. Okay, so that way the middle ear is also connected with the throat. Okay, so these are the parts of your middle ear. Then comes to your inner ear, as you see your inner ear. Okay, so inner ear has got mainly two parts here. Okay, inner ear has got mainly two parts here. that is your semicircular canals and your cochlea, which are shown out here, semicircular canals and your cochlea. Okay, and another two parts which are not shown here in the diagram are your utriculus and sacculus. Okay, so here in the book it is there. You just have a look at your book itself. It is here on page number 146. This diagram is here that I have drawn. The other diagram to show that your utriculus and sacculus is here. Okay, so this utriculus and sacculus are shown out here. So these four parts you find then in the inner ear. Okay, in the inner ear. So this one, semicircular canals, this one. Then you find cochlea here. Then other two parts, that is utriculus and sacculus, here itself, somewhere here. Okay, these four parts, make your inner ear. Okay, now let's talk about this cochlea first. Cochlea. So this cochlea is spiral shaped. Okay, it's spiral shaped, as you see here, something like a snail shell. What do you call it? Snail, you know what you call it? Snail shell, you must have seen something like that. Its shape is there, and as you see the canals out here, that makes 2.5 tons. 2.5 tons. You see 1, 2.5. 2.5 tons you find out here. The canals. So that way they are spirally shaped. They are spiral shaped and something like a snail's shell. Okay, with something like a snail shell. S-H-E-L-L shell. So it looks like that. The internal canals of this cochlea are divided into three canals. Okay, are divided into three parallel canals as they are shown here. Okay, separated by means of membrane, right? And these three canals, all right, have been named like this. The upper one is your vestibular canal. Okay, the middle one is median canal, and the last one is called tympanal canal. So these three canals are seen internally of this cochlea. All right. Then this median canal. Okay, this median canal contains fluid substance called endolymph. Okay, it is called endolymph. Endolymph. Okay, endolymph. E-N-D-O-L-Y-M-P-S, endolymph. Okay, and this median region also possesses area for the sensory cells. Okay, possesses area for sensory cells which are called organ of Coti. Okay, organ of Coti. See, this area in median canal contain lot of sensory cells. Okay, and these sensory cells which are responsible for hearing are called organ of Coti. C-O-R-T-I, Coti. Okay, and the nerve fibers of these cells go to the auditory nerve here. Go to the auditory nerve here. You see out here cochlear portion of auditory nerve. So the nerve fibers from these cells, okay, organ of Coti, go to the auditory nerve or cochlear portion of auditory nerve. So this nerve now at the end will carry that impulse. Okay, carry that impulse to the brain where it is perceived. Okay, and other two canals you see, vestibular canal and the tympanal canal, contains the other fluid substance called perilymph. P-E-R-I-L-Y-M-P-S, perilymph. Okay, so this is how this cochlear canals have been, named differently, like this: vestibular, median, and tympanal. And this, especially your median canal, contains lot of sensory cells meant for hearing. Okay, then another part of your inner ear is your semicircular canals. Here, semicircular canals, which are three canals out here, arranged at right angle to each other in different planes. Okay, you see here, they are all arranged at right angle to each other. Three angles are there, three canals are there, which are arranged at right angles to each other in three different planes. Okay, and what you find there is that, and each canal, the end of each canal is widened at the base. Is widened at the base out here, making an ampulla. Which contains the sensory cells for dynamic balance. Okay, so here ampulla of this semicircular canals, which you see out here, contain the sensory cells for maintaining the dynamic balance. Dynamic balance means when we move, when we do something, when our body is in motion, that time also the balance has to be maintained. So that time the balance is maintained by the sensory cells present in the ampulla out here. This ampulla is made by the what you call that, your end of each canal out here, which are widened at the base. Okay, so this is how you see the dynamic balance is maintained out here. And here you see the base of this, what you call a semicircular canals, you see being attached to this cochlea here. It is based, this is the base of the semicircular canals, you see being attached to this cochlea also. Okay, and this base, as you see here, is little bit long, which is not shown out here, but as you see in the other diagram of your book, here it can be shown, it can be clearly seen out here. Okay, so this, the base of this one, this canal you see being attached to this, and here in this base there you find two important parts called utriculus and sacculus here. Utriculus and sacculus. So this utriculus and sacculus also contain the sensory cells for maintaining the static balance of the body. That means when we are at rest, okay, when we are sitting, so that time also the body has to be balanced. Okay, the body has to be in balance. So that balance at our rest is maintained by the sensory cells present here in the utriculus and sacculus of this base of semicircular canals. Okay, so here also you see those sensory cells will collect the impulse, the message for maintaining the balance will be taken to the brain itself from here. These muscles or these sensory cells will be ultimately joining with the nerve. Okay, nerve of the, nerve called auditory nerve, and that auditory nerve will carry that message to the brain, and brain ultimately will do the needful. Needful means out there to maintain the balance. So this is how you see the different parts of the human ear, like do their function and perform their function. So this is the structure as well as the function of each of the part of this human ear, which is actually you see being discussed, which is being discussed in three different parts, that is outer ear, middle ear, and inner ear. Okay, now we'll see the functions of ear. As you have already come to know that there are two functions of ear. One is hearing, the other one is maintaining the balance of the body. Okay, so hearing, how do we hear them? How does the sound wave travel from external ear to the inner ear, and it is perceived, it is known, it is analyzed. Okay, see, it is like this. This pinna, okay, this pinna receives these sound waves. Okay, receives the sound waves, and that wave will be allowed to go inside via this ear canal or auditory canal. Okay, that sound wave will be going inside via this ear canal or auditory canal and strikes this tympanum or strikes this eardrum. Okay, then eardrum sets into vibration now. Okay, so because the sound is coming, once it is once it is hit by that sound wave, then it sets into vibration. Okay, that means it vibrates. Then there is Eustachian tube, as I have discussed, which connects the middle ear with the throat. Also equalizes the pressure on either side of tympanum, so that this tympanum or this eardrum can vibrate freely. Okay, then what happens? Then these three bones, the ear ossicles, all right, they are your malus, incus, and steps, or commonly hammer, anvil, and stirrup, also set into vibrations because they are all connected. All right, then your stirrup will set the vibration which is there in stirrup, will further set this stirrup which is already in vibration, which is already vibrating. So this stirrup now also will set this cochlea into vibration via this oval window. That means first this oval window will be setting into vibration, and from there it will go into the cochlea. That is now your cochlea is also there in vibration. It is also now vibrating. So how it happens there in cochlea is that the fluid substance which is there inside, okay, that your endolymph and perilymph, as we have discussed before, this fluid substance in cochlea also set into vibration now. Okay, then this vibrating movement of this fluid substance here now stimulates the sensory cells present out here. Okay, stimulates the sensory cells present out here, so that the impulse from here will be taken to the brain via this auditory nerve. That means that fluid substance will influence the sensory cells out here, and under the influence of that, the impulse, okay, that impulse, the impulse of sound will be now collected by this auditory nerve, which will finally reach this impulse to the brain, where it is perceived, where it is understood what kind of sound it is, that will be heard here, that will be known here in the brain ultimately. Okay, which will be, that impulse will be carried by this auditory nerve itself. Okay, then here the canals which you see out here, the different canals, they're inside this your cochlear canal, or they're inside the cochlea. There are many canals. So these different canals are for different pitches of sound. There are different pitches of sound. All right, so these different canals are meant for different pitches of the sound, and we cannot pick up the sound of different frequencies, all the frequencies, okay, especially those sounds of 20 to 20,000 hertz. Okay, see, 20 to 20,000 hertz. Okay, the sound having this much frequencies, 20 to 20,000 hertz. So that sound of these frequencies can be heard by our ears. Okay, but the best one, the sound which can be clearly heard would be between 1000 to 4000 hertz. Okay, the sound having the frequencies between this 1000 to 4000 hertz can be heard clearly. Okay, but you see, the dogs can even perceive the sound of higher frequencies also. Okay, function of the ear is balancing, as I've told you, balancing. So how it maintains the balance is that you see here, this part of the ear is responsible for maintaining the balance, that is semicircular canals. Okay, as you see here, three semicircular canals are there arranged at right angle to each other, which we have already discussed. So these semicircular canals also contain fluid substances in it. So as we move the head here and there, that time that fluid substance inside also moves. Okay, they also move and push against the sensory cells out here, sending the nerve impulse from here to the brain. Okay, to the brain via this auditory nerve itself. Okay, this impulse also will be collected by auditory nerve, and this auditory nerve only will be carrying the impulse from here to the brain. Okay, where it is perceived, so that the balance is maintained. All right, as I've told you, the what do you call it here, this the semicircular canals which you see here are meant for maintaining the dynamic balance. That means when we are moving, okay, so that time also the body has to balance. That time this semicircular canals maintain the balance there. Okay, whereas when we are at rest, when we are just standing, so that time also the body has to be balanced, which is called static balance. So that is maintained by the sensory cells present there in the utriculus and sacculus, as I've already told you, utriculus and sacculus. So that way this the balance of the body is maintained during different occasions, especially when you are moving and also when you are at rest. Okay, when we are moving, it's called dynamic balance, which is maintained by the sensory cells present there in the semicircular canals, and the static balance is maintained by the sensory cells present there in the utriculus and sacculus of your inner ear. So this is how we find these two functions, that is your hearing and balancing, you see being maintained by or being performed by your ear. Okay, so this is how we conclude the chapter number 11 also. Okay, thank you very much.